Muy buenas noches, bendiciones. Yo soy Vanessa Díaz y estoy con ustedes para informarles de todo lo que está aconteciendo desde los Estados Unidos. Bendiciones en esta noche. Vamos a estar escuchando con todos ustedes el discurso que el presidente Donald Trump da ante el discurso de la Unión, que da ante el Congreso de la República y también ante cientos de asistentes a este evento que, aparte de ser institucional y constitucional, es un evento importantísimo, uno de los más importantes, digamos, de lo que tiene que ver este año y también de la historia de los Estados Unidos, teniendo en cuenta que todos los presidentes deben mostrar sus avances y también todo lo que van a hacer en materia legislativa en los Estados Unidos. Y por ello vamos a estar viendo en vivo y en directo el discurso del presidente Donald Trump. Vamos en estos momentos a ver qué está pasando a esta hora desde el Congreso de la República. Vamos a estar escuchando el discurso del presidente y conociendo cada uno de esos detalles importantes que el presidente va a dar ante el Congreso. Recordemos que él tiene que defender todo lo que se viene haciendo en materia prácticamente lo que hace el presidente Donald Trump hoy, justifica todas sus políticas que ha venido implementando desde el inicio de este año y más con la noticia que tiene en estos momentos y es que ha sido invalidados sus aranceles, su política más fuerte como es la política arancelaria. Entonces, en medio de todo este caos, de situaciones adversas que ha tenido este gobierno, también han habido victorias, pero ¿cuáles son esos planes que tiene el presidente para trabajar de la mano del Congreso y avanzar sin tantos tropiezos? Es lo que esperamos, que dentro de este discurso que el presidente Donald Trump presente a los americanos que viven en este país, y poder convencer al Congreso de avanzar de una sola mano, avanzar entre rojos y azules, avanzar bajo un mismo propósito. En breve vamos a estar ya con toda esta información desde el Congreso de la República, donde no solamente hace presencia el presidente, sino que hay diversos congresistas y está el gabinete. Está también Melania Trump, está Marco Rubio, DJ Vance y así todos sus acompañamiento, ese acompañamiento de su gabinete, de esas personas que han gestionado las leyes. También vemos al hijo del presidente, pero vamos a mostrarles ya porque ya estamos en vivo y en directo para que todos ustedes puedan conocer con nosotros lo que se está viviendo a esta hora desde el Congreso de la República. Vamos a ir en estos momentos en vivo y en directo para poder conocer con todos ustedes lo que está aconteciendo. Lo que sí sabemos es que desde ya el presidente tiene un largo discurso, muy largo para toda la comunidad que lo está viendo y que él quiere mostrar cuáles son esas políticas en las que desde la Casa Blanca ha avanzado y ha logrado un momento histórico para Estados Unidos. Eso es lo que sabemos. Estaremos ya aún se están saludando, no ha iniciado como tal el discurso, pero yo quería hablar con ustedes acerca de las prioridades. de las prioridades que vamos a tener y que le toca debatir al presidente e informar al país toda la situación económica y el por qué él ha defendido tanto los aranceles que fueron declarados ilegales y que él le toca ahora ver de qué manera hace que estos aranceles funcionen a pesar de toda la situación del tira y jala con la Corte Suprema de Justicia. Presenta una agenda legislativa bastante amplia y que sabemos que quiere impulsar acciones urgentes para avanzar en sus políticas. ¿Cómo marca el rumbo de todas estas políticas en el país? Pues si las políticas del presidente las aprueba el Congreso, de esta manera podrían avanzar sus políticas, tanto migratorias como económicas, como el tema arancelario, como la Junta de Paz, que necesita tanto dinero, porque la Junta de Paz necesita muchísimo dinero. Así que vamos a ver si ya está en vivo para poder iniciar con todos ustedes esta transmisión que tanto nos importa a todos, porque a veces dejamos de lado las noticias internacionales y ya el presidente acaba de ingresar y no las utilizamos sabiendo lo importante que es para a nivel internacional el que estemos bien, pero bien informados. Si vivimos en un país como Norteamérica, tenemos que conocer cómo se dan las políticas, cuáles son las leyes, porque si conocemos las leyes no las vamos a violar, sino que vamos a tratar de mantenernos en el margen. Por ello es necesario estar bien informado. Recuerden suscribirse a nuestro canal, darle a la campanita mientras estamos en la transmisión y apoyar a nuestra comunidad latina para estar bien informada a través de Bajume TV Latino. Recuerden eso. Vamos con todos ustedes a esta transmisión en vivo y en directo ya para conocer qué está pasando desde el Congreso de la República. Porque ya el presidente Donald Trump acaba de ingresar, está saludando a las personas y vamos a compartirles ya mismo para que juntos veamos esta transmisión. Ahí estamos viendo al presidente ingresar, está saludando a las personas. Es lo que estamos viendo en estos momentos. Recordemos que el Discurso de la Unión es uno de los eventos políticos más importantes del país. No solo es una tradición, es un acto constitucional, un momento de evaluación nacional, una herramienta muy, pero muy estratégica que el presidente utiliza para organizar esas ideas, pero también para dárselas a conocer a la audiencia. Ahí vemos al presidente ya dispuesto a darle a toda la comunidad americana y también al mundo entero este discurso porque está siendo transmitido a nivel internacional. Vemos a sus hijos completamente, en esa fila estaban todos sus hijos, Melania Trump, Barron Trump, todos estaban ahí y hay que ver que para este propósito se necesita muchísima preparación. Hay que reconocer que es un hombre de avanzada edad que está en el poder y que no hay edad para lograr los propósitos. Pero hoy lo más importante es que el presidente va a informar sobre la situación del país, presentar sus prioridades y la agenda legislativa. ¿Se marcará un rumbo político diferente después de este discurso? No lo sabemos. Vamos a esperar qué trae el presidente para marcar un rumbo diferente y cómo este discurso podría funcionar para el cambio de la ruta política de este gobierno de Donald Trump, donde se dirige a toda la administración, justificando cada una de sus leyes y propósitos.
Members of Congress that have the high privilege and distinct honor
Ya
of
empezó el
presenting to you
saludo
the President
oficial.
of the United States.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. It's really an honor. Speaker Johnson, Vice President Vance, First Lady of the United
El presidente está
States.
saludando a todos los presentes, las mujeres de United States, Estados Unidos.
Second Lady of the United States. Members of Congress and my fellow Americans, our nation is back, bigger, better, richer, and stronger than ever before.
El 4 de julio se cumplen 250 años de nuestra era de oro para los Estados Unidos. Vamos a escuchar por completo el discurso.
American independence. This July 4th, we will mark 2.5 centuries of liberty and triumph, progress and freedom in the most incredible and exceptional nation ever to exist on the face of the earth. And you've seen nothing yet. We're going to do better and better and better. This is the golden age of America.
Está hablando de todo lo que él ha heredado con esta situación del país. Pero esta noche, después de un año, puedo decir con dignidad y orgullo que hemos logrado una transformación que nadie había visto nunca. Está considerando como histórica la transformación que ha sufrido los Estados Unidos. Está diciendo que nunca volverán a lo que era Estados Unidos antes, porque hoy la frontera es segura y por ello está siendo ovacionado.
And we will never go back to where we were, just a very secure.
La economía está rugiendo como nunca y nuestros enemigos están asustados. Estados Unidos está siendo respetado como nunca antes.
Today, our board
Está siendo ovacionado en estos momentos, está hablando de la importancia. Está siendo ovacionado en estos momentos de la importancia que ha tenido durante todo su gobierno el eliminar la ilegalidad, cero ilegalidad, es lo que está diciendo el presidente. El presidente sigue hablando de que el fentanilo se ha reducido en todo lo que tiene que ver en un año en este país. Un récord nunca antes visto en la nación.
Last year, the murder rate saw its single largest decline in recorded history. This is the biggest decline, think of it, in recorded history, the lowest number in over 125 years, year 1900. In fact, substantially before my wonderful father, I had a wonderful father, Fred, before he was born, substantially before he was born. It's a long time ago. He wouldn't like me to say that, but that's a long time ago. The Biden administration and its allies in Congress gave us the worst inflation in the history of our country.
Dice que el gobierno de Joe Biden generó la peor inflación
down to the lowest
del
level
país,
in more than 5
y que
years.
este
And in the
gobierno
last
ha
3
reducido
months of
la
2025,
inflación
it
en
was
los
down to
últimos 3 meses como nunca
1.7%.
antes. Así que la inflación cayó en un 7%.
Gasoline, which reached
La
a peak
gasolina,
of over
que
$6 a
llegó
gallon
a
in some
más de
states,
$6 por
under my
galón en algunos
predecessor,
estados,
it was quite
bajo
honestly
su
a disaster.
predecesor,
Is now below
que
$2.30 a
francamente fue
gallon
un
in most
desastre,
states,
está
and in some
ahora a
places
menos de
$1.99 a
$2,
gallon. And when I visited
$2.30
the great
por
state of
galón en
Iowa just a
algunos
few weeks ago,
estados.
I even
En
saw
Nueva Jersey también la gasolina ha bajado
$1.85
bastante.
a gallon for
Está
gasoline.
en $3 algo en algunos sectores.
Mortgage rates are the lowest in 4 years and falling fast, and the annual cost of a typical new mortgage is down almost $5,000 just since I took office. 1 year.
Está hablando de que él asumió la presidencia, sus avances en la tasa de interés ha bajado muchísimo. Lo que está haciendo es proteger el valor para que las personas puedan sentir que tienen riqueza y que pueden acceder.
The stock market has set 53 all-time record highs since the election. Think of that. 1 year. Boosting pensions, 401ks, and retirement accounts.
Se ha incrementado el 401k, las cuentas de retiro para millones de estadounidenses.
In 4 long
Todas están
years, the last
repuntando.
administration got less than $1 trillion in new investment in the United States. And when I say less, substantially less. In 12 months, I
nuevas
secured commitments for more
inversiones
than $18
para Estados
trillion
Unidos.
pouring in from all over the globe.
He obtenido más de 18 billones de dólares que vienen de todas partes del mundo.
Think of it, much less than $1 trillion for 4 years versus much more than $18 trillion for 1 year. What a difference a president makes.
18 trillones
A short time ago, we were a dead
de
country.
dólares.
Now we are the hottest country anywhere in the world, the hottest.
Explica que ahora tienen la nación más pujante del mundo cuando antes estaban siendo un país muerto.
As thousands of new businesses are forming at factories, plants, and laboratories are being built, we have added 70,000 new construction jobs in just a very short period of time. It's getting bigger and bigger and stronger. Nobody can believe what they're watching. American oil production is up by more than 600,000 barrels a day, and we just received from our new friend and partner, Venezuela, more than 80 million barrels of oil.
La producción petrolera ha repuntado en más de 600,000 barriles
American
por
natural
día.
gas production is at an all-time high because I kept my
Hemos
promise
recibido
to
más de 80,000
drill,
millones
baby,
de petróleo.
drill. More Americans are working today than at any time in the history of our country. Think about that. Any time in the history of our country, more working today. And
Amen.
100% of all jobs created under my administration have been in the private sector.
Más estadounidenses están trabajando hoy que en ningún otro momento, según explica el presidente.
We ended DEI in America. We cut a record number of job-killing regulations, and in 1 year, we have lifted 2.4 million Americans, a record, off of food stamps. And for all of these reasons, I say tonight, members of Congress, the state of our union is strong.
Miembros del Congreso, el estado de nuestra nación en
Our
el día de
country
hoy es
is winning
fuerte.
again. In fact, we're winning so much that we really don't know what to do about it. People are asking me, please, 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 Mr. President, we're winning too much. We can't take it anymore. We're not used to winning in our country. Until you came along, we're just always losing, but now we're winning too much. And I say, no, 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 you're going to win again. You're going to win big. You're going to win bigger than ever. And to prove that point, here with us tonight is a group of winners who just made the entire nation proud. The men's gold medal Olympic hockey team. Come on in.
Van a seguir ganando muchísimo, dice el presidente, que van a seguir ganando y les está presentando ahora mismo a unos ganadores, al equipo de hockey masculino que hace arribo al Congreso para mostrar cómo los Estados Unidos está ganando desde su gobierno.
Go ahead.
Este es el discurso del presidente Donald Trump ante del Estado de la Unión, así se llama el discurso. Que se convierte en uno de los eventos políticos más importantes del país. No solo es una tradición, es un acto constitucional. Ahora mismo lo que vemos en pantalla es el equipo de hockey sobre hielo.
That's the first time I've ever
fue
seen them
ganador
get up.
y lo está mostrando.
And actually,
Lo
not
llevó el
all of them did
presidente
get
ahí
up.
para que todos
They
pudieran
beat
felicitarlos y
a
también
fantastic
los
Canadian
vieran
team in
como los
overtime, as
ganadores
everybody
que
saw,
son.
as did the American women who will soon be coming to the White House. They were in the Oval Office before, and I just want to say a second very big congratulations to Team USA. But I have to say that, and I told them this, and we took a vote of the team. I said, anybody votes no, I'm not doing it. So they stood there, and they weren't about to say no, because I've never seen a goaltender play as well as goalie Connor Hellebuck. Think of it, 46 shots on goal, and I asked him, the one shot, the one where you put your stick in the back and it hit the neck of your stick and bounced off. Do you practice that, or was that a little lucky? He refused to answer that question. But I just want to tell you that the members of this great hockey squad will be very happy to hear, based on their vote and my vote, and in this case, my vote was more important, that I will soon be presenting Connor with our highest civilian honor, which we will be given and which has been given to many athletes over the years. But when I say many, not too many, like 12, it's called the highest civilian honor in our country, the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
Saludos a toda la comunidad de Venezuela que está conectada en estos momentos. A toda nuestra comunidad latina, un saludo muy especial desde nuestro canal Bajume TV Latino.
Great athletes have gotten that, very great, the best. And I thought he deserved it. And I did take a vote, every single one of them. I said, I'm not giving it if anybody goes no. And every single one of
Les
them
invitamos a
rapidly put up
compartir
their
la
hand. So I want
transmisión
to thank you. What a special
también
job you did. What special
y a que nos den
champions you
sus
are. Thank you very
opiniones, a
much.
que nos digan qué les parece, si están de acuerdo con la intervención del presidente Donald Trump ante Venezuela y todo lo que está pasando en el país.
I'm also pleased to say that the next time the Olympic torch is lit, it will be here in America for the 2028 Olympics. And it's the summer version right in Los Angeles. We're going to do a good job in Los Angeles. And Los Angeles is
Sé que
going
le
to be safe,
complace
just like
hacer el
Washington,
anuncio de que
D.C. is now one of the
próximamente las
safest
Olimpiadas
cities in the
serán
country.
en Los Ángeles, California. Ahora mismo está dándolo a conocer el presidente.
And this year, And I must say, I
Y
got
Los
them both.
Ángeles será una
I got
ciudad
'em in the
segura,
first term.
como lo
I was
es hoy en
disappointed
día
because I didn't think
Washington,
I'd
una de
be
las
the
ciudades más
president when this
seguras.
happened. But strange things took place. And now I've got them because I got the Olympics and I got the 2026 FIFA World Cup. And I wanted to claim the 250th, but I didn't get away with that one. I couldn't claim that one for myself. But we're getting the World Cup. So we have the World Cup and the Olympics coming. And that is exciting news. So this will be a year to celebrate our country and the heroes who have kept it free. Men like Buddy Taggart. At age 17, Buddy volunteered to defend America in World War II, serving in the Pacific under the great General Douglas MacArthur. He fought bravely in the famous Battle of Manila, worked so hard. He was badly wounded and almost killed by enemy machine guns in Luzon. And 81 years ago this month, he liberated the largest internment camp in the Philippines, one of the largest anywhere in the world. But he earned many honors, including a Purple Heart and a Bronze Star, came home, started a family, and tonight he is in the gallery looking forward to July 4th, 2026, his 100th birthday.
Todavía el presidente no se ha referido al tema de Venezuela, pero
So,
sé
buddy,
que en
you're a
unos
brave man, and
momentos
we salute you.
también se referirá
Even in times
a
of
este
challenge,
tema.
setback, and
Dice
immense
Donald
heartache,
Trump,
the
leemos
spirit
los
of
mensajes de las personas
1776
también
has always
que nos
shone
acompañan.
through very brightly. It was July 4th of last year when floodwaters tore through a girls' summer camp in Central Texas. One of the worst things I've ever seen. I was there, rising 26 feet in the matter of minutes, tragically claiming many, many lives. You all remember that one. As the waters threatened to sweep her away, 11-year-old Millie Kate McClelland closed her eyes and prayed to God. She thought she was going to die. Those prayers were answered when Coast Guard rescue swimmer Scott Ruskin descended from a helicopter above. Nobody knew where he came from. It was Scott's first ever rescue mission, a young guy, but very brave, very, very top, always top in his class. And he lifted not just Millie Kate, but 164 others to safety.
Está recordando cómo una joven con muchas otras niñas casi son arrasadas en California el año pasado y luego de orar fueron rescatadas por unos rescatistas que lograron llegar al lugar y el agua no se las llevó, pero murieron muchas personas, muchos jóvenes que estaban en un campamento y él está haciendo
People
la
watched
remembranza
Scott
de
from a
eso en
distance,
esta hora.
and they couldn't believe what they were seeing. The winds were blowing, the rain was pouring, everything was going, and that rapid water, nobody had seen anything like it. They said, wow, that's something. Tonight, Scott and Millie Kate are here together, reunited for the very first time. Thank you, Scott, Millie Kate. And Petty Officer Ruskin, I'm pleased to inform you that I am now awarding you the Legion of Merit for extraordinary heroism, which is what it was, extraordinary heroism. Thank you. And I'd like to have the military aide to please come down and take care of the service. Military aid, thank you very much. Take care of that very important service. Thank you very much. From 1776 to today, every generation of Americans has stepped forward to defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And they're really doing it for the next generation. But now it's our turn. Together, we're building a nation where every child has the chance to reach higher and go further, where government answers to the people, not the powerful, and where the interests of hardworking American citizens are always our first and ultimate concern. That is the debt we owe to the heroes who came before us, and that is the promise we must keep to America for our 250th year. Last year, I urged this Congress to begin the mission by passing the largest tax cuts in American history, and our Republican majorities delivered so beautifully.
Este es uno de los
Thank you,
mensajes que
Republicans.
nos deja una de nuestras televidentes, donde le da las gracias al presidente Donald Trump. Y nosotros lo que ustedes escriban se lo vamos a mostrar al público, porque es necesario que ustedes también se expresen.
All Democrats, every
Después de que
single
sea de
one of
forma
them voted against
respetuosa.
these really important and very necessary massive tax cuts. They wanted large-scale tax increases to hurt the people instead.
Todos los
But we held
demócratas, cada
strong,
uno
and
de
with the
ellos, todos
great,
votaron en
big,
contra
beautiful bill,
de estas
we gave
medidas
you no
tan
tax on
importantes y
tips, no
necesarias
tax on
de
overtime,
recortes.
and no tax on Social Security for our great seniors.
Querían un incremento fiscal, lo que habría perjudicado a la gente. Pero nos mantuvimos firmes y con la hermosa ley del
And we also
presupuesto
made interest on auto loans tax deductible the first time, but only if the car is made in America.
no impuestos al seguro social, no impuestos a la propina, no impuestos a nuestros ancianos.
Recently in Pennsylvania, I met Megan Hemhauser, a devoted mom who's homeschools her children, beautiful, 2 children, during the day while waiting tables at night as her husband works overtime, operating very heavy equipment. Megan is here this evening, and she's happy to tell you that she is so much richer because with no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and our expanded child tax credit done again by Republicans, Megan and her husband will take home more than $5,000 extra just for the year, cutting her tax bill in more than half. Megan, please stand up. We're fighting for you, Megan. Thank you, Megan. Thank you, Megan. We're fighting for you, Megan. Under our bill, parents like Megan can also activate their children's brand new Trump accounts. And I didn't name it. I did not name that. Nobody believes me, but I did not name it. It was named by a very tall man sitting right there in the third row. Nice man, a good man. Tax-free investment accounts for every American child. This is something that's so special, it has taken off and gone through the roof. Millions will be pre-funded courtesy of the U.S. Treasury and private individuals like Michael and Susan Dell, who have donated $6.25 billion to fund the Trump accounts for 25 million American children. They're great people. You know, I asked Michael Dell, how do you make all that money? He said, well, I just sat on my dorm in school And I made computers and I'd sell them to people. And I just kept selling and selling and selling. And pretty amazing story. That's called the American dream. He sold a lot of computers, a lot of those laptops. So I congratulate him on that. But I really thank him and Susan, as well as others like Brad Gerstner, a very tremendous guy. He was behind it right from the beginning. Brad Gerstner. Thank you, Brad. So with modest additional contributions, these young people's accounts could grow to over $100,000 or more by the time they turn 18. Think of it. How much money is that for somebody that started with nothing? Over 100,000, could be much more than that. To make this investment in our children's future, go to trumpaccounts.gov, trumpaccounts.gov. And a lot of people are doing it. They're setting every record in the book. It's popular. They knew what it was going to take. I'm so proud of them. I'm so proud of the people that got it started. And now it's just taken off. One of the primary reasons for our country's stunning economic turnaround, the biggest in history, where the Dow Jones broke 50,000 4 years ahead of schedule, and the S&P hit 7,000, where it wasn't supposed to do it for many years, were tariffs. I used these tariffs, took in hundreds of billions of dollars to make great deals for our country, both economically and on a national security basis. Everything was working well. Countries that were ripping us off for decades are now paying us hundreds of billions of dollars. They were ripping us so badly. You all know that. Everybody knows it. Even the Democrats know it. They just don't want to say it. And yet these countries are now happy, and so are we. We made deals. The deals are all done. And they're happy. They're not making money like they used to, but we're making a lot of money. There was no inflation, tremendous growth. And the big story was how Donald Trump called the economy correctly, and 22 Nobel Prize winners in economics didn't. They got it totally wrong. They got it really wrong. And then just 4 days ago, an unfortunate ruling from the United States Supreme Court. It just came down. It came down. Very unfortunate ruling. But the good news is that almost all countries and corporations want to keep the deal that they already made, right, Scott? Knowing that the legal power that I, as president, have to make a new deal could be far worse for them, and therefore they will continue to work along the same successful path that we had negotiated before the Supreme Court's unfortunate involvement. So despite the disappointing ruling, these powerful country saving, it's saving our country, the kind of money we're taking in, peace protecting. Many of the wars I settled was because of the threat of tariffs. I wouldn't have been able to settle them without. Will remain in place under fully approved and tested alternative legal statutes. And they have been tested for a long time. They're a little more complex, but they're actually probably better, leading to a solution that will be even stronger than before. Congressional action will not be necessary. It's already time-tested and approved. And as time goes by, I believe the tariffs paid for by foreign countries will, like in the past, substantially replace the modern-day system of income tax, taking a great financial burden off the people that I love. Right? Moving forward, factories, jobs, investment, and trillions of dollars will continue pouring into the United States of America because we finally have a president who puts America first. I put America first. I love America. For decades before I came along, we had the exact opposite. From trade to healthcare, from energy to immigration, everything was stolen and rigged in order to drain the wealth out of the productive, hardworking people who make our country great, who make our country run. Under Biden and his corrupt partners in Congress and beyond, it reached a breaking point with the Green New scam, open borders for everyone. They poured in by the
Dice que él
millions and
ama a los
millions from
Estados Unidos
prisons
y que
of
finalmente
mental
tienen un
institutions.
presidente
There
que
were
pone a los
murders,
Estados Unidos primero.
11,888 murders. They came into our country. You allowed that to happen. And record-setting inflation that cost the typical family $34,000 in just a speck of time. Now the same people in this chamber who voted for those disasters suddenly used the word affordability, a word they just used it. Somebody gave it to them, knowing full well that they caused and created the increased prices that all of our citizens had to endure. You caused that problem. You caused that problem. They knew their statements were a lie. They knew it. They knew their statements were a dirty, rotten lie. Their policies created the high prices. Our policies are rapidly ending them. We are doing really well. Those prices are plummeting downward. The price of eggs is down 60%, Madam Secretary. Thank you. The cost of chicken, butter, fruit, hotels, automobiles, rent is lower today than when I took office by a lot. And even beef, which was very high, is starting to come down significantly. Just hold on a little while. We're getting it down. And soon you will see numbers that few people would think were possible to achieve just a short time ago. Nobody can believe when they see the kind of numbers, and especially energy, when they see energy going down to numbers like that, they cannot believe it. It's like another big tax cut. I'm also confronting one of the biggest ripoffs of our times, the crushing cost of health care caused by you. Since the passage of the Unaffordable Care Act, sometimes referred to as Obamacare, big insurance companies have gotten rich. It was meant for the insurance companies, not for the people. With our government giving them hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars a year as their stock prices soared 1,000, 1,200, 1,400, and even 1,700%, like nothing else. That's why I introduced the great healthcare plan. I want to stop all payments to big insurance companies and instead give that money directly to the people so they can buy their own health care, which will be better health care at a much lower cost. In addition, my plan requires maximum price transparency. That's a big deal. Sounds so simple, so big. And I did that in my first term, and the Democrats immediately terminated it with full knowledge that they were doing a very bad thing for the people. Costs were going to go way up, and that's what happened. And now I'm bringing them way down on healthcare and everything else. I'm also ending the wildly inflated cost of prescription drugs like has never happened before.
Acaba de decir que quiere parar el pago a las aseguradoras.
Other presidents tried to do it, but they never could. They tried. Most didn't try, actually. But they tried. They said they tried. They couldn't do it. They didn't even come close. They were all talk and no action, but I got it done. Under my just enacted most favored nation agreements, Americans who have for decades paid by far the highest prices of any nation anywhere in the world for prescription drugs will now pay the lowest price anywhere in the world for drugs. Anywhere, the lowest price. So in my first year of the second term, Should be my third term. But strange things happen. I took prescription drugs, a very big part of healthcare, from the highest price in the entire world to the lowest. That's a big achievement. The result is price differences of 300, 400, 500, 600% and more, all available right now at a new website called TrumpRx.gov. And I didn't name that one either, by the way. And here tonight is the very first customer ever to get that big discount, and it is big, Catherine Rayner. For 5 years, she and her husband have struggled with infertility, and they turned to IVF. One drug has been costing Catherine $4,000 to purchase. But a few weeks ago, she logged onto the Trump RX website and got that same drug that cost $4,000, got it for under $500. A reduction of much more, actually, than $3,500. Catherine, we are all praying for you, and you're going to be a great mom. So now I'm calling on Congress to codify my most favored nation program into law. Now, the one thing, I'm not sure it matters because it's going to be very hard for somebody that comes along after me to say, let's raise drug prices by 700 or 800%. But John and Mike, if you don't mind, codify it anyway. They may do it. Codify it anyway. Thank you. Many Americans are also concerned that energy demand from AI data centers could unfairly drive up their electric utility bills. Tonight, I'm pleased to announce that I have negotiated the new Ratepayer Protection Pledge. You know what that is? We're telling the major tech companies that they have the obligation to provide for their own power needs. They can build their own power plants as part of their factory so that no one's prices will go up. And in many cases, prices of electricity will go down for the community and very substantially down. This is a unique strategy never used in this country before. We have an old grid. It could never handle the kind of numbers, the amount of electricity that's needed. So I'm telling them they can build their own plant. They're going to produce their own electricity. It will ensure the company's ability to get electricity while at the same time lowering prices of electricity for you, and could be very substantial for all of you cities and towns. You're going to see some good things happen over the next number of years. Another pillar of the American dream that has been under attack is homeownership. With us tonight is Rachel Wiggins, a mom of two from Houston. She placed bids on 20 homes and lost all of those bids to gigantic investment firms that bypassed inspection, paid all cash, and turned those houses into rentals, stealing away her American dream. She was devastated. Stories like this are why last month I signed executive order to ban large Wall Street investment firms from buying up in the thousands single-family homes. And now I'm asking Congress to make that ban permanent, because homes for people, really, that's what we want. We want homes for people, not for corporations. Corporations are doing just fine. Rachel, thank you very much. Good luck with your home. You'll get one soon. We're also working to make it easier for Americans to save for retirement. And under this administration, we will always protect Social Security and Medicare. They are not protecting it for our seniors. We will always protect Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. Since I took office,
firmó una orden para evitar que las firmas de Wall Street pudieran comprar únicamente ellos las viviendas unifamiliares.
We have millions and millions of people, because the stock market has done so well, setting all those records, Your 401ks are way up. Yet half of all of working Americans still do not
Queremos
have access to a
disponibilidad de
retirement plan
viviendas
with
para la
matching
gente,
contributions
no para
from
las
an employer.
corporaciones.
To remedy this
Acaba de
gross
expresar el
disparity, I'm
mandatario que
announcing
quiere
that
que
next
los
year my
americanos
administration will give
sean
these
dueños de
oft-forgotten
viviendas
American
y
workers,
que
great people, the
trabaja
people
para
that built
más
our
fácil
country,
para que los
access to the same type
estadounidenses
of retirement
puedan
plan offered
trabajar
to
por
every
hacer
federal
su
worker.
retiro,
We will
sus
match
retiros.
your
Y
contribution with up to
siempre van a
$1,000
proteger
each
el
year,
Medicaid
as we
para
ensure that
que
all
los
Americans can profit
estadounidenses
from a
puedan
rising
tener
stock market.
el
Let's also
Medicaid
ensure
y el
that
seguro
members
social.
of
Vamos a
Congress
seguir escuchando.
cannot corruptly profit from using insider information. They stood up for that. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Did Nancy Pelosi stand up if she was here? Doubt it. Pass the Stop Insider Trading Act without delay. I wasn't sure if anybody, even on this side, was going to applaud for that. I'm very impressed. Thank you. I'm very impressed. But when it comes to the corruption that is plundering, it's plundering America. There's been no more stunning example than Minnesota, where members of the Somali community have pillaged an estimated $19 billion from the American taxpayer. Oh, we have all the information. And in actuality, the number is much higher than that. And California, Massachusetts, Maine, and many other states are even worse. This is the kind of corruption that shreds the fabric of a nation, and we are working on it. So tonight, although started 4 months ago, I am officially announcing the war on fraud to be led by our great Vice President, J.D. Vance. He'll get it done. Find enough of that fraud. We will actually have a balanced budget overnight. It'll go very quickly. That's the kind of money you're talking about. We'll balance our budget. The Somali pirates who ransacked Minnesota remind us that there are large parts of the world and lawlessness are the norm, not the exception. Importing these cultures through unrestricted immigration and open borders brings us problems right here to the USA. And it is the American people who pay the price in higher medical bills, car insurance rates, rent, taxes, and perhaps most importantly, crime. We will take care of this problem. We're going to take care of this problem. We are not playing games. Delilah. Delilah Colton was only 5 years old in June 2024 when a 18-wheel tractor trailer plowed into her stopped car traveling at 60 miles an hour or more. The driver was an illegal alien let in by Joe Biden and given a commercial driver's license by open borders politicians in California. Doctors said Delilah would never be able to walk or talk, have a good life. She wouldn't even be able to eat again. But against all odds, she is now in the first grade learning to walk. And she's here this evening with her dad, Marcus, a fantastic man. Delilah, please, you are a great inspiration. Please stand up. Thank you, Delilah. Many, if not most, illegal aliens do not speak English and cannot read even the most basic road signs as to direction, speed, danger, or location. That's why tonight I'm calling on Congress to pass what we will call the Delilah Law, barring any state from granting commercial driver's licenses to illegal aliens. And yesterday, as you probably saw at the White House, I hosted a ceremony with Americans who lost their treasured loved ones to the scourge of illegal immigration. People came into our country, how we allowed this to happen with our open borders. These are the angel moms and families that for decades our government betrayed and our media totally ignored. It was terrible. Hard to believe, actually. In 2023, a 16-year-old high school cheerleader named Elizabeth Medina was supposed to perform in her town's Christmas parade, but she never arrived. Her mother, Jacqueline, went home to look for her, and she found her lying dead in a bathtub, bleeding profusely.
Dice que muchos inmigrantes ilegales no pueden siquiera leer las normas de tránsito cuando están en las carreteras y por eso le pide al Congreso apruebe la ley de Laila para evitar la entrega en algunos estados de licencias de conducir a inmigrantes
Her heartbroken mother
ilegales.
is in the gallery to remind everyone in this chamber exactly why we are deporting illegal alien criminals to our country at record numbers, and we're getting them the hell out of here fast. We don't want them. Thank you very much, Jacqueline. Thank you. We can never forget that many in this room not only allowed the border invasion to happen before I got involved, but indeed they would do it all over again if they ever had the chance. If they ever got elected, they would open up those borders to some of the worst criminals anywhere in the world. The only thing standing between Americans and a wide open border right now is President Donald J. Trump and our great Republican patriots in Congress. Thank you. Thank you. As we speak, Democrats in this chamber have cut off all funding for the Department of Homeland Security. It's all cut off. It's all cut off. They have instituted another Democrat shutdown, the first one costing us 2 points on GDP. 2 points we lost on GDP, which probably made them quite happy, actually. Now they have closed the agency responsible for protecting Americans from terrorists and murderers. Tonight, I'm demanding the full and immediate restoration of all funding for the border security, Homeland Security of the United States, and also for helping people clean up their snow. We have no money because of the Democrats, and it would be nice. We'd love to give you a hand at cleaning it up, but you gave no money. Nobody's getting paid. It's a shame. So you have to think about it. We have, in case you didn't know, a pretty large snowstorm out there. One of the great things about the State of the Union is how it gives Americans the chance to see clearly what their representatives really believe. So tonight, I'm inviting every legislator to join with my administration in reaffirming a fundamental principle. If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens. Isn't that a shame? You should be ashamed of yourself not standing up. You should be ashamed of yourself. That is why I'm also asking you to end deadly sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country, they're blocking the removal of these people out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself. And perhaps most importantly, I'm asking you to approve the Save America Act. To stop illegal aliens and others who are unpermitted persons from voting in our sacred American elections. That cheating is rampant in our elections. It's rampant. It's very simple. All voters must show voter ID. All voters must show proof of citizenship in order to vote. And no more crooked mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military, or travel. None. And this should be an easy one. And by the way, it's polling at 89%, including Democrats, 89%. And even the new communist mayor of New York City, I think he's a nice guy, actually. Speak to him a lot. Bad policy, but nice guy. Just said they want people to shovel snow. They got hit hard. Wants them to shovel snow, but if you apply for that job, you need to show 2 original forms of ID and a Social Security card. Yet they don't want identification for the greatest privilege of them all, voting in America. No, it's no good. No good. Both Republicans and Democrats overwhelmingly agree on the policy that we just enunciated. And Congress should unite and enact this common sense, country-saving legislation right now, and it should be before anything else happens. And the reason they don't want to do it, why would anybody not want voter ID? One reason, because they want to cheat. There's only one reason. They make up all excuses. They say it's racist. They come up with things you almost say, what imagination they have. They want to cheat. They have cheated. And their policy is so bad that the only way they can get elected is to cheat. And we're going to stop it. We have to stop it, John. And here is one more opportunity to show common sense in government. In the gallery tonight, Michelle, in 2021, Sage was 14 when school officials in Virginia sought to socially transition her to a new gender, treating her as a boy and hiding it from her parents. Hard to believe, isn't it? Before long, a confused Sage ran away from home after she was found in a horrific situation in Maryland. A left-wing judge refused to return Sage to her parents because they did not immediately state that their daughter was their son. Sage was thrown into an all-boys state home and suffered terribly for a long time. But today, all of that is behind them because Sage is a proud and wonderful young woman with a full ride scholarship to Liberty University. Sage and Michelle, please stand up. And thank you for your great bravery. And who can believe that we're even speaking about things like this? 15 years ago, if somebody was up here and said that, they'd say, what's wrong with him? But now we have to say it because it's going on all over numerous states without even telling the parents. But surely we can all agree no state can be allowed to rip children from their parents' arms and transition them to a new gender against the parents' will. Who would believe that we're even talking about this? We must ban it, and we must ban it immediately. Look, nobody stands up. These people are crazy. I'm telling you, they're crazy. Amazing. Incredible. Boy, oh boy. We're lucky we have a country. With people like this, Democrats are destroying our country, but we've stopped it just in the nick of time, didn't we? Huh? No one cares more about protecting America's youth than our wonderful First Lady, now a movie star. She's a movie star. Can you believe it? Who would have believed that? Over the past year, she has had an incredible impact championing AI legislation, advancing a landmark executive order on foster care, and helping secure $30 million to launch the Melania Trump Foster Youth to Independence Initiative. It's a tremendous, really a tremendous thing that happened and had a lot of bipartisan support. She gets much better bipartisan support than I do. I get none. She gets a lot. Someday you're going to have to tell me how you did that. And students and educators in every state have joined the First Lady's efforts in the presidential AI challenge, keeping America's next generation positioned to succeed and strongly succeed in the future. Tonight, we welcome two young people whose lives reflect the First Lady's impact, Sierra Burns and Everest Nevermont. Thank you both, and Melania, thank you. I know how hard you worked on it. Thank you very much. I'm very proud to say that during my time in office, both the first 4 years and in particular this last year, there has been a tremendous renewal in religion, faith, Christianity, and belief in God. Tremendous renewal. This is especially true among young people, and a big part of that had to do with my great friend, Charlie Kirk, a great guy, great man. So last year, Charlie was violently murdered by an assassin and martyred, really martyred for his beliefs. His wonderful wife, Erica, is with us tonight. Erica, please stand. Thank you, Erica. Been through a lot. In Charlie's memory, we must all come together to reaffirm that America is one nation under God, and we must totally reject political violence of any kind. We love religion, and we love bringing it back, and it's coming back at levels that nobody actually thought possible. It's really a beautiful thing to see. Above all, unleashing America's promise requires keeping our communities safe. We have made incredible strides, yet dangerous repeat offenders continue to be released by pro-crime Democrat politicians again and again. We are honored to be joined tonight by a woman who's been through hell, Anya Zarutska. In 2022, she and her beautiful daughter, so beautiful, what a beautiful young woman, Irina, fled war-torn Ukraine to live with relatives near Charlotte, North Carolina. And by the way, what's going on with Charlotte? Last summer, 23-year-old Irina was riding home on the train when a deranged monster who had been arrested over a dozen times and was released through no cash bail stood up and viciously slashed a knife through her neck and body. No one will ever forget. There were people on that train. No one will ever forget the expression of terror on Irina's face as she looked up at her attacker in the last seconds of her life. She died instantly. She had escaped a brutal war only to be slain by a hardened criminal, set free to kill in America, came in through open borders. Mrs. Zarutska, tonight I promise you we will ensure justice for your magnificent daughter, Irina. How do you not stand? How do you not stand? I'm asking this Congress to pass tough legislation to ensure that violent and dangerous repeat offenders are put behind bars, and importantly, that they stay there. Starting last summer, I deployed our National Guard and federal law enforcement to restore law and order to our most dangerous cities, including Memphis, Tennessee, big success, New Orleans, Louisiana, big success, and our nation's capital itself, Washington, D.C., where we have almost no crime anymore in Washington, D.C. How did that happen? In fact, crime in Washington is now at the lowest level ever recorded, and murders in D.C. this January were down close to 100% from a year ago. They don't like to hear that. One of sick people, one of the brave service members who helped achieve this stunning turnaround was 20-year-old West Virginia Army National Guard Specialist Sarah Beckstrom. After a 4-month deployment, she voluntarily extended her service, and her rank was going to be lifted. She was doing so well. They were so proud of her. But the very next day, she was on patrol near the White House when she was ambushed and shot in the head by a terrorist monster from Afghanistan. Shouldn't have been in our country. And all because she wore the uniform of our nation. She was shot. He traveled here, because he didn't like people wearing our uniform. He was sick and deranged, shouldn't have been in our country.
Habla de la necesidad
Sarah
de que los
Beckstrom died in order
criminales
to defend our capital,
reincidentes se queden
and
en
we
la
are honored to
cárcel
be
y que el
joined by
Congreso
her
apruebe
wonderful
una
parents,
ley
Gary
que
and
permita esto.
Evilly. Your daughter was a true American patriot, and she will be greatly missed. She was a great person. I saw reports on her. They've never seen anything like it. So sorry. Thank you very much. She's a great young lady. I saw reports that were like, perfect. She was perfect. Serving alongside Sarah that day was Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf. The terrorist shot Andrew in the head, and no one thought he could possibly make it. The two of them, Sarah and Andrew, both shot violently in the head. Neither was expected to make it. They weren't even given a chance, except his wonderful mother, named Melody, who I spoke to the same night. And she was so positive. The doctors thought that Andrew was gone. But his mother said, no, Mr. President, Andrew will be fine. He's going to make it. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, he was given almost no chance. She said, I have no doubt, sir, he's going to be okay. This was a conversation that I had with her that night, with her son laying helplessly in bed, blood all over. Everybody is praying, she said, sir, he will be okay. The doctors didn't understand what she was saying. And after looking at the results of the damage done, neither did I. She was so strong and conclusive that even Andrew's great father felt she didn't really understand the gravity of the situation. But she turned out to be right. Right, Melody? She turned out to be right. Amazing, actually. I said, where does this woman come from? She's the most positive person I've ever met. With God's help, Andrew has battled back from the edge of death, and we're talking about the edge of death, on his way to a miraculous recovery. He's got a little work to do, but he's doing great. Nice to see you. He's a good-looking guy. Nice to see you. Thanks, Andrew. Thank you very much. So, Andrew, while you're up, now I'm going to ask a highly respected General James Seward to present Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf and the great family of Sarah Beckstrom with the award created by our late, great President George Washington himself. It's called the Purple Heart. We love you all. Love you. We're proudly restoring safety for Americans at home, and we are also restoring security for Americans abroad. Our country has never been stronger. In my first 10 months, I ended 8 wars, including Cambodia. Isn't it funny? Sick people. Cambodia and Thailand, Pakistan and India. Would have been a nuclear war. 35 million people said the Prime Minister of Pakistan would have died if it were not for my involvement. Kosovo and Serbia, Israel and Iran, Egypt and Ethiopia, Armenia and Azerbaijan, the Congo and Rwanda, and of course the war in Gaza, which proceeds at a very low level. It's just about there. And I want to thank Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner for your help. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Jared. And I also want to thank the man they report to, Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Thank you, Marco. People are like you. You know, Marco got 100% of the votes when he was in confirmation. I think our next one was about 54%. And some of the Democrats are now saying, I can't believe we approved that guy. And he said it's an honor that they feel that way, right, Marco? You have done a great job, great Secretary of State. I think he'll go down as the best ever. Under the ceasefire I negotiated, every single hostage, both living and dead, has been returned home. Can you believe that? Nobody thought it was possible. Nobody thought that was possible. Both living and dead. And those parents who had a dead son, their boy, they'd always tell me the boy, they wanted him as much as though he were living. It was an amazing period of time. And they came back, and when we got all of the living hostages back, and many, many before them, but I always said those last 20 are going to be very tough, but we got many, many more, hundreds. But I said those last 20 are going to be tough. We got them back. But we only got back 14 or 15 of the dead of the 28. And believe it or not, Hamas worked along with Israel, and they dug and they dug and they dug. It's a tough thing to do, going through bodies all over, passing up 100 bodies sometimes for each one that they found. Tough job. And they finally got it back to 27. And then Steve and Jared, they got it back to 28. They found all 28. Nobody thought that was possible, but we did it. And I remember the family of the 28th. They were so grieved, but they were so happy as it's possible to be. They had their boy back. The mother said, "Sir, we have our boy back." What a period of time that was, but we got them all back. So thank you both very much. Great job. And we're working very hard to end the 9th war, the killing and slaughter between Russia and Ukraine, where 25,000 soldiers are dying each and every month. Think of that, 25,000 soldiers are dying a month. A war which would have never happened if I were president, would have never happened. As president, I will make peace wherever I can, but I will never hesitate to confront threats to America wherever we must. That's why in a breakthrough operation last June, the United States military obliterated Iran's nuclear weapons program with an attack on Iranian soil known as Operation Midnight Hammer.
Rubio, felicitándolo y agradeciéndole también, pero también habló de que pasará a la historia como el mejor secretario.
For decades, it had been the policy of the United States never to allow Iran to obtain a nuclear weapon. Many decades. Since they seized control of that proud nation 47 years ago, the regime and its murderous proxies have spread nothing but terrorism and death and hate. They've killed and maimed thousands of American service members and hundreds of thousands and even millions of people with what's called roadside bombs. They were the kings of the roadside bomb. And we took out Soleimani. I did that during my first term. Had a huge impact. He was the father of the roadside bomb. And just over the last couple of months with the protests, they've killed at least, it looks like 32,000 protests, 32,000 protesters in their own country. They shot them and hung them. We stopped them from hanging a lot of them with the threat of serious violence. But this is some terrible people. They've already developed missiles that can threaten Europe and our bases overseas, and they're working to build missiles that will soon reach the United States of America. After Midnight Hammer, they were warned to make no future attempts to rebuild their weapons program, and in particular, nuclear weapons. Yet they continue, starting it all over. We wiped it out, and they want to start all over again, and are at this moment again pursuing their sinister ambitions. We are in negotiations with them. They want to make a deal, but we haven't heard those secret words. We will never have a nuclear weapon. My preference is to solve this problem through diplomacy. But one thing is certain, I will never allow the world's #1 sponsor of terror, which they are by far, to have a nuclear weapon. Can't let that happen. And no nation should ever doubt America's resolve. We have the most powerful military on earth. I rebuilt the military in my first term. We're going to continue to do so. Also, we just approved a $1 trillion budget. We have no choice. We have to be strong because hopefully we will seldom have to use this great power that we built together. It's really called peace through strength, and it's been very, very effective. So thanks to Republicans in Congress, we're investing that record number of dollars, have no choice, in the United States Armed Forces. Also creating a lot of jobs, but we're not even doing it for that reason. Because as I said, we have more jobs, more people working today than ever before in the history of our country. And NATO countries are friends and allies. They are. They're our friends and they're our allies. Have just agreed at my very strong request to pay 5% of GDP for military defense rather than the 2%, which they weren't paying. We were paying for almost all of them. Now they're paying 5 as opposed to not paying 2. And getting that 5% was something which everyone said would never be done, could not happen. We got it really easily with one meeting. And big difference between 2% that's not paid. We were paying the freight of many of them. Very few were paid up. Now 5%, then they're paid. And everything we send over to Ukraine is sent through NATO, and they pay us in full. They pay us totally in full. Every branch of our armed forces is setting records for recruitment. This is so exciting. And every service member recently. And every service member recently received a warrior dividend of $1,776. You know, they put it on my desk. We got the money from tariffs and other things, a lot of money we have. We have much more money than people understand. Have to rebuild that program a little bit, but it won't take long. But we got the money, and it was $1,775, and they wanted my approval. And I said, what's the number? $1,775. I said, wait a minute. For one more dollar, we can have $1,776. It's going to I said, we're going to figure that. I never asked anybody if we could afford it. One more dollar. I said, $1,776. And I said, that's good. And I'll tell you what, our military, that was 4 months ago, our military, I never see a person in the military that doesn't thank me for it. So we're honored to do it. They deserve it. And we call it 1776. It was great. And we love our military. We love our law enforcement. We love our firemen. You know, the firemen don't get mentioned enough. We love our firemen. We're also restoring American security and dominance in the Western Hemisphere, acting to secure our national interests and defend our country from violence, drugs, terrorism, and foreign interference. For years, large swaths of territory in our region, including large parts of Mexico, really large parts of Mexico, have been controlled by murderous drug cartels. That's why I designated these cartels as foreign terrorist organizations, and I declared illicit fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction. And with our new military campaign, we have stopped record amounts of drugs coming into our country and virtually stopped it completely coming in by water or sea. You probably noticed that. We very seriously damaged their fishing industry also. Nobody wants to go fishing anymore. We've also taken down one of the most sinister cartel kingpins of all. You saw that yesterday. In January, elite American warriors carried out one of the most complex, spectacular feats of military competence and power in world history. No one's seen anything like it. Foreign leaders, I won't tell you who, called me and they said, very impressive, very good. They couldn't believe, they all watched. They saw what happened. This is a different fighting force that we had years ago when we fought to tie. You know, it's a great fighting force. I'm so proud of it. Look at Space Force. Space Force is my baby because we did that. My baby is becoming so important. And America's armed forces overwhelmed all defenses and utterly defeated an enemy, good fighters, to end the reign of outlaw dictator Nicolas Maduro and bring him to face American justice. And this was an absolutely colossal victory for the security of the United States, and it also opens up a bright new beginning for the people of Venezuela. We're working closely with the new president of Venezuela, Delcy Rodriguez, to unleash extraordinary economic gains for both of our countries and to bring new hope to those who have suffered so terribly. They really did suffer. With us tonight is Alejandro Gonzalez. She grew up in a tight-knit Venezuelan family and was especially close to her beloved uncle Enrique. But after Enrique ran for office and opposed Maduro, he was kidnapped by Maduro's security forces and thrown into the regime's really infamous prison in Caracas. Alejandro feared she would never see her uncle again. She feared for her own life also. But since the raid, we have worked with the new leadership, and they have ordered the closure of that vile prison and released hundreds of political prisoners already, with more to come.
Está
Alejandro, I'm
hablando
pleased to inform
ahora
you
mismo
that
de
not
la
only has your
operación
uncle
más
been
espectacular
released,
y compleja de
but
Estados
he is
Unidos,
here tonight.
algo
We brought
sin
him over to
precedentes.
celebrate his freedom
La
with you in
captura
person.
de Nicolás
Enrique,
Maduro.
please come down.
Dice que líderes mundiales lo llamaron a felicitarlo. Todos vieron lo que sucedió y hablaron con él de la fuerza diferente, de las fuerzas militares de los Estados Unidos y de la operación que lograron en Venezuela. Vamos a seguir escuchando.
Thank you, Enrique. Have a good time. Nice to have you back, Enrique. There were many heroes on that January raid to capture Maduro, really great heroes. It was very dangerous. They knew we were coming. They were all set. But the deeds of one warrior that night will live forever in the eternal chronicles of military valor. Chief Warrant Officer 5, Eric Slover,
El presidente
planned the
acaba de
mission and was
hablar
the
de
flight lead
tiempo.
in the
Lleva
cockpit
1 hora
of the first
46
helicopter.
minutos
A
en
big,
su discurso,
beautiful, powerful
más de lo que
helicopter.
han
It was a
hablado
massive Chinook
otros presidentes.
carrying,
Pero ahora mismo
as you
está
can
hablando de los
imagine,
beneficios
many
que ha
American
tenido
warfighters
Venezuela
wearing
gracias
the
a
dog
haber
tags. His wife
extraído
Amy had
a
blessed with holy water
Nicolás
before he
Maduro y
left. He knew it
tenerlo
was
en
going to
estos
be a rough one.
momentos preso en
Eric
Estados
steered the
Unidos.
Chinook under the cover of night and descended swiftly upon Maduro's heavily protected military fortress. This was a major military installation,
Está hablando de
protected by
Venezuela
thousands of
específicamente.
soldiers and guarded by Russian and Chinese military technology. How did that work
Hay
out?
uno de los venezolanos que sufrió lastimosamente.
While preparing to land, enemy machine guns fired from every angle, and Eric was hit very badly in the leg and hip, one bullet after another. He absorbed 4 agonizing shots, shredding his leg into numerous pieces. And yet, despite the fact that the use of his legs was vital to successful
tío que ha sido liberado se
helicopter
encuentra aquí en el Congreso.
Legs are the most
Específicamente,
important part
lo
of
que
flying
acaba
a
de
helicopter,
decirle el presidente
to
Donald
deliver
Trump
the many
a
commandos who
Alejandro,
would
un
capture and
joven
detain
que su tío
Maduro
estaba
was the
preso
only
y que ha
thing
sido liberado por el
Eric was
régimen.
thinking about. Then, even as he was gushing blood, which was flowing back down the aisle, helicopter lands at a steep angle. The machine gun stood right in front of him. They were right in front of him, 2 machine gunners who escaped the wrath of the previous planes. Eric maneuvered his helicopter with all of those lives and souls to face the enemy and let his gunners eliminate the threat. Turned the helicopter around so the gunners could take care of business, saving the lives of his fellow warriors from what could have been a catastrophic crash deep in enemy territory. Only after safely landing the helicopter with all the warriors aboard in the exact right spot, which was vital to the mission. We probably would have had to maybe cancel the mission if that didn't happen. Eric told his co-pilot, also wounded, but not as gravely, to take over. I'm about ready to pass out. The success of the entire mission and the lives of his fellow warriors hinge on Eric's ability to take searing pain. It was unbelievable what's happened to his legs of the bullets, and keep on flying and landing, and people knew what was happening. Everybody in the back of the helicopter knew because they saw the blood pouring down the aisle. Chief Warrant Officer Slover is still recovering from his serious wounds, but I'm thrilled to say that he is here tonight with his wife, Amy. Eric and Amy, come on in. So we have a surprise for Eric and Amy. In recognition of Eric's actions above and beyond the call of duty, I would now like to ask General Jonathan Braga to present Chief Warrant Officer Slover with our nation's highest military award, the Congressional Medal of Honor. Well, thank you very much, Eric and Amy. Great to get to know you. I met with them and with a lot of their fellow warriors at Fort Bragg recently. You notice the name Fort Bragg, we have it back, we brought it back. We won the First World War with it, the Second World War with it, and then they decided to change the name. So we changed it back. Everybody wanted to change back too. And 10 of Eric's fellow warriors from that incredible night of victory will also be receiving medals at a private ceremony that will soon be held at the White House, and Eric will be there. Thank you. Thank you, Eric. That's a big one. Tonight we've celebrated many truly extraordinary American patriots, but there is one last living legend to honor before we go. He is one more heroic American aviator, Navy fighter pilot. Royce Williams served in World War II, Korea, Vietnam, flying more than 220 missions. In the skies over Korea in 1952, Royce was in the dogfight of a lifetime, legendary dogfight. Flying through blizzard conditions, his squadron was ambushed by 7 Soviet fighter planes. It was his first aerial combat of the war, and despite being massively outnumbered and outgunned, Royce led the takedown of 4 enemy jets and almost destroyed the others, vanquishing his adversaries while taking 263 bullets, to his own plane and being seriously hurt. His story was secret for over 50 years. He didn't even want to tell his wife, but the legend grew and grew. But tonight, at 100 years old, this brave Navy captain is finally getting the recognition he deserves. He was a legend long before this evening. Royce, please stand up, and I will ask the First Lady of the United States to present Captain Royce Williams with his Congressional Medal of Honor. Thank you, Royce, and thank you, Eric. I've always wanted the Congressional Medal of Honor, but I was informed I'm not allowed to give it to myself, and I wouldn't know why I'd be taking it, but if they ever open up that law, I will be there with you someday. But you know, that's our highest honor, Congressional Medal of Honor, and that's a big thing, and it's an honor to be in the same room with you. Thank you both very much, Eric. Thank you. Thank you. 250 years is a long time in the life of a nation, but in another sense, it's really a mere moment in the eye of history. Two of the gentlemen we met in the gallery this evening took their first breaths 1 century ago, 100 years before that, on July 4th, 1826, the author of the Declaration of Independence, brilliant, Thomas Jefferson, drew his last breath. Just a single long human lifespan separates the giants who declared and won our independence from the heroes who stand among us tonight. Everything our nation has done, everything we have achieved, has been the work of those few great lifetimes. In those brief chapters, Americans built this nation from 13 humble colonies into the pinnacle of human civilization and human freedom, the strongest, wealthiest, most powerful, most successful nation in all of history. Americans ventured out across the daunting and dangerous continent. We carved paths through an unforgiving wilderness, settled a boundless frontier, and tamed the beautiful but very, very dangerous Wild West. From empty marshes and wide open plains, we raised up the world's greatest cities. Together we mastered the world's mightiest industries and shattered history's monstrous tyrannies, and we liberated millions from the chains of fascism, communism, oppression, and terror. Americans lifted humanity into the skies on the wings of aluminum and steel, and then we launched mankind into the stars on rockets powered by sheer American will and unyielding American pride. We wired the globe with our ingenuity. We captivated the planet with American culture. And now we are pioneering the next great American breakthroughs that will change the entire world. All of this and so much more is the enduring legacy, unmatched glory of the hardworking patriots who built and defended this country and who still carry the hopes and freedoms on all of humanity's backs. For years, they were forgotten, betrayed, and cast aside. But that great betrayal is over, and they will never be forgotten again. Because when the world needs courage, daring, vision, and inspiration, it is still turning to America. And when God needs a nation to work his miracles, he knows exactly who to ask. There is no challenge Americans cannot overcome, no frontier too vast for us to conquer, no dream too bold for us to chase, no horizon too distant for us to claim. For our destiny is written by the hand of providence, and these first 250 years were just the beginning. From the rugged border towns of Texas to the heartland villages of Michigan, from the sun-kissed shores of Florida to the endless fields of the Dakotas, and from the historic streets of Philadelphia to right here in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., the golden age of America is upon us. The revolution that began in 1776 has not ended. It still continues because the flame of liberty and independence still burns in the heart of every American patriot. And our future will be bigger, better, brighter, bolder, and more glorious than ever before. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
Se acaba de despedir el presidente Donald Trump. Acaba de terminar su discurso, su mensaje a la nación, y vio en medio de toda esta situación, lo que logramos ver fue a un Donald Trump que le tocó ver al Congreso en varios momentos decirle, ¿por qué no se ponen de pie? Fue una de sus frases. Ya está saliendo muy tranquilo, muy sereno. Estuvo hablando de todo lo que hizo durante todo este tiempo y sí, se ha convertido en el discurso más largo de la historia de un presidente de los Estados Unidos. ¿Y por qué es el discurso más largo? Porque duró prácticamente 2 horas. El último discurso duró menos de 1 hora. En cambio, este duró muchísimo tiempo, 2 horas, y las personas estuvieron ahí atentas, presentes. Muchos él decía cada vez que decía algo que para él era relevante, le decía a la comunidad que estaba presente, ¿por qué no se ponen de pie? ¿Por qué no se ponen de pie? Algunos de los demócratas se levantaron en medio del discurso y él también llamó la atención. Dijo que realmente se va a lograr una América grande, una América victorioso, desde Michigan hasta Washington, es lo que expresa él, que ahora viene el tiempo más grande para Norteamérica. Habló desde Filadelfia hasta Washington, estuvo hablando de la seguridad, de cómo devolvió la seguridad a Washington, de cómo devolvió la seguridad al país entero a través del cierre de fronteras. en cuanto en materia económica, cómo a través de las políticas económicas ha bajado la inflación. El tema de la gasolina en los Estados Unidos es algo que es real. Realmente el estadounidense de cualquier color puede decir que es real en la baja de la gasolina, porque en Texas hay lugares donde la gasolina se consigue a $2 y pico, y aquí en Nueva Jersey, Nueva York, podemos tenerla en $3 algo, en algunas zonas en $4, pero la gasolina realmente bajó muchísimo. Eso lo dio a conocer el presidente, mostró, hizo las condecoraciones del capitán que sobrevoló el helicóptero, y también dijo que va a haber una reunión privada donde se les va a hacer condecoraciones a estas personas que participaron, o a estos militares que participaron en la operación que dio la captura de Nicolás Maduro. Lo reconoció que el capitán le tocó en un momento, sufrió un quebranto en su pierna, le tocó decirle a otro de los mandos que por favor operara el helicóptero, la operación en ese momento, y se logró sin ningún problema. Ahí mismo le entregó una condecoración. También vimos al presidente reconocer el liderazgo de Marco Rubio, y dijo que Marco Rubio pasará a la historia como el secretario más reconocido, el secretario que obtiene todos los votos, el mejor secretario de la historia. Será reconocido a nivel internacional. Para él es Marco Rubio, y yo creo que para el pueblo latino también Marco Rubio será conocido en la historia como una persona de muchísima influencia en este gobierno, porque su trabajo lo ha mostrado, y ha mostrado el liderazgo latino a través de su representación de la mano de Donald Trump. Esto en cuanto a Marco Rubio. Asimismo habló de la ley que necesita que el Congreso ponga en marcha, y esto tiene que ver con la transición de género, el no permitir la transición de género en menores de 19 años. También mostró a Enrique Márquez, el venezolano que fue liberado hace poco, que le dio la sorpresa a Alejandra, un familiar que estaba ahí mismo en el Congreso, y que él llegó y se encontró con ella. Fue una de las perspectivas donde vimos al presidente. Vamos a escuchar a esta hora, en estos momentos, vamos a mostrar un momento cómo fue esa liberación, para que todos podamos tener en contexto de cómo fue la liberación de Enrique cuando fue liberado. Enrique Márquez, de pronto algunos no saben quién es Enrique Márquez, pero él estuvo mucho tiempo preso en Venezuela por el régimen, y hoy ya ha sido liberado. Entonces, estas son algunas de las cosas que hemos visto, de las informaciones, pero también todo lo que hemos logrado ver que el presidente Donald Trump mostró en este discurso, que fue bien largo, pero que logró poner en contexto a aquellos que de pronto desconocen muy poco la política de los Estados Unidos, cómo se manejan. Bueno, llamó la atención del Congreso para que apruebe diversas leyes que se necesitan para avanzar en los proyectos y procesos que permitan el avance en Estados Unidos para muchos ciudadanos, y también para beneficio de la comunidad. Exaltó y reconoció, sabemos que así como da a conocer las leyes, también dio a conocer las situaciones adversas que se han presentado dentro del gobierno, las muertes que han ocurrido por manos de inmigrantes o personas en situación irregular dentro del país. Esto también lo mostró él. Aquí está, déjenme mostrarles un momento para que podamos ver cómo fue esa liberación de Enrique Márquez en su momento, cuando fue liberado en Venezuela. Muchos venezolanos estuvieron conectados también a nuestro live y pudimos ver a través de ellos ese amor que sienten por la patria, ese agradecimiento que tienen muchos por los Estados Unidos y por lo que ha hecho el presidente Donald Trump. Estuvimos apoyándolos a ellos, mostrándoles a cada uno de ellos todo lo que se vive y todo los mensajes que ellos podían compartir desde donde se encuentran. Y había una persona que decía que tiene 8 años sin poder regresar al país. Entonces esto también es muy, pero muy lamentable, muy doloroso que pase, pero no podemos hacer nada hasta que verdaderamente esté en libertad Venezuela, para que las personas tengan eso sea propicio de que puedan regresar al país. Bueno, aquí no me está saliendo, pero bueno, les cuento un poco. Enrique Márquez, candidato presidencial, dirigente opositor, es un político venezolano de larga trayectoria, es director del Consejo Nacional Electoral y es candidato presidencial de las elecciones del 2024. Fue detenido por el régimen tras denuncias de irregularidad electoral en ese mismo año, en el 2024, y fue acusado de conspiración y persecución política. Entonces, actualmente lo que vemos es ya el discurso de Donald Trump con algunos testigos y personas que estuvieron o hicieron parte de todo este proceso y de cómo él, a través de las políticas que ha venido implementando, pretende y ha logrado muchas de las, en su largo tiempo, porque tiene apenas un más bien corto tiempo, tiene apenas año y pico, año 2 meses de haber asumido el poder, para bajar la inflación, lograr que la bolsa de valores también ha tenido sus subes y sus altos y bajos, pero aún así él dice que va a tratar y hacer todo lo posible porque él cree y está seguro que logrará una América grande. Entre tanto, no vimos un acuerdo o una política legislativa en la que podía llegar a un discurso acertado para con los demócratas, porque todo el tiempo estuvo diciéndoles también a los demócratas que pues aprueben las leyes, que es para toda la ciudadanía, en beneficio de toda la ciudadanía, pero también sabemos las diferencias que hay entre los dos partidos. A partir de ahora vamos a estar muy atentos a conocer qué va a pasar con las políticas migratorias y también qué va a pasar con el tema económico por los aranceles que fueron impedidos completamente. Del tema de los aranceles no habló el presidente durante su discurso, se centró más en la parte de la economía, en cómo ha avanzado la inflación, cómo mejorar la calidad de vida de los estadounidenses. También estuvo hablando un poco de la ley Laila, que prohíbe la licencia para conductores indocumentados o inmigrantes indocumentados, y esta ley busca que personas que no tengan una documentación regular puedan tener, o más bien que sean irregulares, no puedan tener una licencia de conducción. ¿Qué dicen algunas leyes? Pues algunas leyes en algunos estados permiten que con el ID, no es una licencia estándar, no real ID, y es un uso de conducir dentro del estado y no sirve para votar ni para trámites legales. De todos modos, lo que sí él está es tratando de impulsar esta ley en el Congreso. Aún no es ley, es una propuesta del presidente, así como la propuesta de la prohibición que prohíbe el presidente, que quiere que no se permita, o más bien no le permite que puedan hacer la transición de género o reasignación de sexo en menores de 19 años de edad. Porque esto sería bloqueando la pubertad, terapia hormonal, cirugía de cambio de sexo, para que sepan cuál es esta ley. Eso es bloqueadores de pubertad, terapia hormonal y cirugía de cambio de sexo. Está proponiendo castigo a hospitales y clínicas que atiendan a menores trans. Y también habló de la seguridad para el seguro social, el Medicare, apoyar a los ancianos, muchísimas leyes que ya conocemos y que sabemos que él las ha venido impulsando. Estamos muy atentos a todo lo que pueda pasar en los Estados Unidos. Suscríbete a nuestro canal de Bajume TV Latino, haz parte de esta comunidad, entérate de toda la información de Norteamérica, pero también de Latinoamérica, porque estamos conectados desde Nueva Jersey para Colombia y para el mundo entero, informarles a ustedes de todos los acontecimientos que pasan desde aquí, de viva voz, porque nuestras noticias verificamos las fuentes y les informamos a ustedes con fuentes fidedignas. Confirmamos la fuente desde la Casa Blanca. Les dije que les iba a hablar de un tema importante antes de que se me olvide, y es todo lo que tiene que ver con las votaciones. Me están preguntando en mis redes sociales el tema de las votaciones, el tema del pasaporte, de cómo saco el pasaporte. Vamos a estar consultando nuevamente con María del Pilar, con la cónsul de Colombia. Si nos toca consultar con la canciller, vamos a consultar con la Cancillería, con quien sea necesario, para poder darles a ustedes la información de qué está pasando en los consulados de Colombia. Pero esta información también de las votaciones, voy a colocarles el video para que ustedes lo puedan ver, cómo acceder a los puestos de votación y qué tienen que hacer. Recordemos que hasta el 31 de marzo pueden inscribir su cédula para votaciones a presidencia. Bueno, con este clip de noticias de Colombia, porque las elecciones que estamos hablando aquí particularmente son las de Colombia, al final ya de esta emisión, me despido. Yo soy Vanessa Díaz y quiero pedirte que le des a la campanita y que te suscribas en Facebook, en Instagram y en YouTube. God bless you. Dios te bendiga, Dios te guarde. Feliz resto de noche. Que pases una noche en la bendición y en la gracia de Dios. Nos vemos mañana con más información. Recuerda suscribirte. God bless you.